Many people are praying for a larger platform while their private life is already collapsing beneath the responsibilities they have. They want recognition, authority, opportunity, and reach. They want more people to hear them, follow them, and trust them. But behind the visible dream are missed commitments, unpaid obligations, neglected relationships, scattered attention, and habits that change with every mood. That is not first an opportunity problem. It is a capacity problem. Capacity is the inner order required to carry outward responsibility. The question is not simply, can the door open? The deeper question is, can you govern what comes through it? An open door may introduce you to opportunity, but it will also introduce opportunity to every weakness you have refused to confront. Consider a magnificent building. Its glass shines. Its height attracts attention. Everyone admires what can be seen. But beneath that structure is a neglected foundation, cracked by years of avoidance. Adding another floor does not solve the weakness. Expansion does not repair the foundation. It increases the pressure upon it. In the same way, public growth cannot compensate for private disorder. Record this principle. Influence magnifies patterns. Influence does not automatically make a careless person disciplined. It gives carelessness a wider consequence. Influence does not transform dishonesty into integrity. It gives dishonesty more people to injure. Influence does not heal neglected relationships, govern uncontrolled spending, or organize wasted time. It enlarges the territory affected by those conditions. But the opposite is also true. When a person is faithful in private, influence gives that faithfulness greater reach. When a person keeps promises, manages resources, guards attention, and corrects mistakes, a larger assignment allows those qualities to serve more people. Visibility is an amplifier. It increases the volume of whatever is already playing within you. So examine your life. What responsibility is already asking for your leadership? Which promise remains unfinished? Which relationship receives your leftovers? Where is your money going without direction? What captures your attention without permission? What do you repeatedly excuse because no audience can see it? Do not answer with the position you hope to occupy. Answer with the life you are governing now. We are going to apply a hidden stewardship test to your commitments: time, money, attention, consistency, accountability, integrity, and willingness to repair what has been damaged. The first preparation for greater influence is not attracting an audience. It is bringing order to the life that exists when the audience leaves. And to understand why this private order matters, we must distinguish between the gift that attracts opportunity and the capacity that sustains it. Talent and capacity are not the same thing. Talent is the ability to produce an impressive result. Capacity is the developed strength to carry responsibility repeatedly without losing order, integrity, or purpose. Talent can create a moment. Capacity builds a life. Understand the sequence. Talent attracts attention. Attention creates expectation. Expectation increases responsibility. Responsibility produces pressure, and pressure reveals preparation. That means applause is not proof that you are ready. Recognition only proves that people noticed you. A title does not prove that you can govern. It only gives your decisions greater consequences. Charisma can make people listen, but credibility determines whether they can continue trusting what they hear. Many gifted people prepare for the performance but neglect the person performing. They develop their voice but not their judgment. They sharpen their presentation but ignore their habits. They study how to enter the room but never learn how to carry the weight waiting inside it. This is why David's public victory must not be separated from his private formation. The crowd saw a young man face a giant. They saw courage, accuracy, and a dramatic result. But the courage was not born when the crowd arrived. The skill was not created when the danger appeared. Long before the battlefield, David had been protecting sheep, confronting threats, practicing his craft, and taking an ordinary assignment seriously. The battlefield did not manufacture David's preparation. It revealed it. Never despise a small responsibility. Small assignments are the workshop of future authority. They train your attention, your patience, your courage, and your faithfulness. If you are careless because the task appears unimportant, you are not merely neglecting the task. You are neglecting the person that task was designed to develop. You may call it a minor job. Heaven may call it training. You may call it an unnoticed season. Purpose may call it construction. So ask yourself, am I preparing only the gift people can see? Am I developing the habits that will protect that gift? Can I remain emotionally steady when criticized? Can I make a right decision when compromise offers a quick reward? Can I serve well when nobody knows my name? Can I be trusted with responsibility that brings no applause? Do not confuse being seen with being ready. Visibility is exposure, not certification. Opportunity may discover your talent, but pressure discovers you. If capacity must exist before opportunity arrives, then its first evidence will not be found in the responsibilities you hope to receive. It will be found in the responsibilities already in your hands. Responsibility begins with what is already in your hands. It is the decision to accept ownership of your choices, your responses, your obligations, and the future you are building from where you stand today. Responsibility is not blame, and it is not shame. Blame sends your power away by making someone else the permanent explanation for your condition. Shame locks your power inside by convincing you that failure is your identity. But responsibility faces the truth and asks, what can I do now? You may not be responsible for everything that happened to you, but you are responsible for what you build from it. That is maturity. Now community matters. Wise people receive counsel, assistance, encouragement, and correction. But no one can mature on your behalf. Others may help you carry a burden. They cannot assume your obligation to become responsible. They can remind you, but they cannot make your decision. They can open a door, but they cannot govern your conduct after you enter. Apply 4 questions to everything presently entrusted to you. First, what exactly is mine to carry? Second, what outcome have I promised? Third, what standard does this responsibility deserve? Fourth, what repeated action will fulfill it? Take those questions home. What does your family have a right to expect from you? Take them to work. Are you merely present, or are you dependable? Apply them to your spiritual development. Are you waiting for strength while neglecting the practices that cultivate strength? Apply them to your health, your relationships, your unfinished assignments, and those small obligations you keep moving from one week to the next. Responsibility creates internal order. When ownership becomes clear, decisions become clearer. Excuses lose authority. Initiative replaces waiting. And confidence begins to grow, not confidence based on positive talk, but confidence supported by evidence. You trust yourself to act because you have watched yourself follow through. Many people keep asking for more while mismanaging what is present. But more responsibility does not manufacture maturity. If a disorderly person receives a larger assignment, the disorder simply gains a larger territory. Increase without government is not advancement. It is expanded exposure. So name one responsibility you have neglected. Do not defend it. Do not minimize it. Do not explain it with another person's behavior. Name it plainly. Then identify the next truthful action. Make the call, complete the work, face the number, arrange the appointment, offer the apology, or establish the routine. Your present duties are not interruptions to your future. They are the examination preparing you for it. Responsibility identifies what belongs to you, but your promises reveal whether other people can safely build their lives around your leadership. A commitment is a future action that another person has been given reason to expect. The moment you make a promise, someone begins arranging part of their life around your word. That makes every commitment a piece of relational infrastructure. Your word is not merely sound, it becomes material in another person's plans. This is why saying yes to everything is not always kindness. If you lack the capacity, intention, or discipline to follow through, your yes is disorder wearing the clothes of generosity. You may appear helpful for a moment, but eventually someone else must carry the cost of what you failed to complete. Watch the sequence. A promise is made. The action does not occur. The other person adjusts. Trust weakens. Explanations multiply. Your own respect for your word declines. Then, little by little, your public declarations lose moral weight because people have learned that your words do not reliably become actions. Many people manage their image while neglecting their promises. Image management asks, how did I appear? Promise management asks, did I do what I said? One protects perception, the other protects trust. Integrity is often revealed in very ordinary places. Did you arrive when you said you would? Did you return the message? Did you meet the deadline? Did you complete the assignment? Did you honor the agreement you made with your family? And when circumstances made delivery impossible, did you communicate early or disappear until someone came looking for you? Practice 4 disciplines before making another commitment. First, pause before agreeing. An immediate yes may satisfy the moment and injure the future. Second, define the expectation. What exactly will be done, by whom, and by when? Third, record it and give it a place in your schedule. Memory is not a management system. Fourth, communicate early when conditions genuinely change. Silence turns a difficulty into a breach of trust. Now examine your life. List the promises that are overdue. Identify the agreements that remain vague. Notice the assurances you offer repeatedly but rarely fulfill. Do not hide behind good intentions. People cannot build on what you intended. They must live with what you delivered. And where your word has been broken, repair it. Acknowledge the breach without constructing a courtroom defense. Apologize for its effect. Renegotiate honestly when that is appropriate. Then allow consistent action, not another dramatic speech, to prove that change has occurred. Credibility is not built by impressive declarations. It is built quietly, one fulfilled promise at a time, and restored patiently through breaches honestly repaired. Authority begins when people discover that your private yes and your public yes describe the same reality. But promises cannot be governed until you govern the resource into which every promise must fit, your time. Time stewardship is the practice of assigning limited hours according to purpose instead of surrendering them to urgency, emotion, and interruption. Your calendar is not merely a record of appointments. It is evidence of government. Look closely at it. Your calendar reveals what receives preparation and what receives excuses. It shows who receives your presence and who receives your leftovers. It exposes what is completed, what is delayed, and what is repeatedly neglected. You may declare your priorities with your mouth, but your time reveals which priorities are actually ruling your life. Do not confuse busyness with diligence. Busyness scatters energy across every demand. Diligence directs energy toward the right responsibilities in a sustainable rhythm. A busy person may be exhausted without being effective. A diligent person knows what must be done, when it must be done, and what must be refused so it can be done well. Time becomes disorderly when you begin days without priorities, make commitments without checking capacity, confuse every urgent request with an important assignment, postpone maintenance until it becomes a crisis, and treat rest as though exhaustion were proof of devotion. Some people allow everyone else to assign their hours and then wonder why their own responsibilities remain unfinished. Imagine filling a container until nothing else can enter. Then someone offers you a new assignment and you push it into the same container without removing, delaying, or delegating anything. What happens? The container does not expand because you are enthusiastic. Things collide. Something breaks. Something spills. Usually, it spills onto the people closest to you. Order your time deliberately. First, identify your non-negotiable responsibilities. Second, reserve time for preparation, not merely performance. Third, schedule completion rather than carrying vague intentions. Fourth, include recovery and undivided presence with the people entrusted to you. Fifth, preserve margin for the disruptions that life inevitably brings. And learn the moral power of a respectful no. A boundary is not always rejection. Sometimes saying no to a new demand is the only way to remain faithful to a previous yes. You cannot honor every request, but you must govern every response. Now review the last 7 days. Do not begin with what you plan to do. Examine where the hours actually went. Does that record agree with what you claim matters most? If it does not, resist condemnation. The gap is information. Information allows correction, and correction restores government. Reliable influence is built by people who arrive prepared, finish deliberately, rest responsibly, remain present, and refuse the pride of perpetual overload. Margin is not laziness. Preparation is not delay. Boundaries are not selfishness. They are evidence that purpose, not pressure, is governing the calendar. But time only tells us where life is being spent. Attention reveals what receives your mind while those hours are passing. Attention is the mind's power of selection. It decides what receives entrance, what receives emphasis, and what receives repetition. Whatever receives your repeated focus eventually gains influence over your thoughts, emotions, decisions, and identity. You can be physically present and mentally absent. You can sit at the table with your family while your mind belongs to a screen. You can attend a meeting while rehearsing an argument from yesterday. You can enter a time of prayer while your thoughts continue answering messages that have not even arrived. Your body may occupy the room, but your attention reveals where you truly are. Follow the sequence carefully. Repeated input becomes a pattern of thought. A pattern of thought shapes decisions. Repeated decisions become habits. Habits form character. Therefore, what you permit to occupy your mind today is participating in the construction of the person you will become tomorrow. This is why attention leaks are not trivial. Constant notifications, comparison, unfiltered media, gossip, unresolved anxiety, compulsive checking, and too many competing priorities divide the mind into fragments. You touch everything, but you complete nothing. You hear everyone, but you listen to no one. You remain active, yet your most important responsibilities receive only the remains of your concentration. Distraction may begin as entertainment, but repeated distraction can become incapacity, the inability to remain with one responsibility long enough to serve it well. A purpose-trained mind selects its influences. An undisciplined mind is selected by every interruption. One governs the gate, the other rents the house to whoever knocks. So establish an attention discipline. Remove predictable interruptions before they demand resistance. Create focused periods for meaningful work. Decide in advance which voices, images, and conversations deserve mental entry. When you are with people, give them undivided presence. And before the day ends, move unresolved concerns out of mental circulation and into a trusted written plan. Your mind was designed to think, discern, and create, not to serve as a warehouse for unfinished reminders. Now ask yourself a direct question. What currently occupies more space in my mind than its purpose or importance deserves? Is it another person's opinion, a fear that has not occurred, an appetite for comparison, a conflict you keep replaying, a stream of information that leaves you informed about everything except your own assignment? Guarded attention produces calm diligence. Concentrated effort reduces wasted movement. It improves judgment because reflection replaces reaction. It deepens relationships because presence replaces proximity. And it strengthens leadership because a person who cannot govern what influences the mind will eventually be governed by it. Once time and attention are ordered, another private record must be examined, the way resources are received, used, saved, shared, and accounted for. Financial stewardship is giving every available resource a truthful purpose before appetite, appearance, or impulse assigns it another one. The central issue is not how much passes through your hands. The issue is how well you govern whatever does. A small income under wise government can produce order. A larger income under poor government can produce larger confusion. Increase does not cure disorder. It supplies disorder with more material. Money tells the truth because spending converts inward priorities into visible decisions. You may say security matters, but your habits may serve appearance. You may say generosity matters, but impulse may consume every margin. You may say obligations matter, but avoidance may keep the numbers hidden. Your financial record has no interest in your speech. It simply documents your choices. Disorder begins when you refuse to face accurate numbers, spend to impress people, neglect agreements, accumulate commitments without a plan, confuse desire with need, or reject accountability because truth feels uncomfortable. Then pressure grows. Concealment becomes more elaborate. And energy that should be serving purpose is spent protecting an image. Do not pray merely for an increase. Prepare a system capable of governing it. More resources entering an unmanaged life often create more waste, more strain, and more opportunities for appetite to disguise itself as necessity. Begin with order. Face the numbers without fear. Identify every obligation. Stop the leakage you can control. Establish a plan that reflects reality rather than fantasy. Create margin gradually. Honor your agreements. Then review your decisions consistently. Because a plan ignored is only a wish written neatly. And stewardship reaches beyond money. How do you treat equipment entrusted to you? What do you do with opportunities? Are your skills being developed or buried? Are relationships being cultivated or merely used? Is your physical environment supporting your purpose or exhausting it? Neglect may wear different clothing in each area, but it trains the same habit, receiving value without governing it responsibly. Sometimes the strongest decision is simplification. Reducing expenses, possessions, obligations, or appearances is not necessarily failure. It may be the recovery of freedom. A smaller, truthful life is safer than a larger performance financed by private panic. Ask yourself, could I explain my present financial decisions to a trusted person without embarrassment, evasion, or invented justification? If not, the first need may not be more money. It may be more truth. Resource management is character training. It teaches patience, restraint, planning, honesty, and contentment. A person who cannot govern private appetites becomes vulnerable when larger resources and greater access arrive. Honest limits protect purpose. Impressive appearances often mortgage it. But systems only provide structure. The real test comes when the plan becomes inconvenient, emotion changes, and nobody is watching. That is where consistency must take over. Consistency is faithful repetition aligned with purpose, especially when emotion, recognition, and circumstances provide no encouragement. It is not doing the right thing once. It is building a pattern that can be trusted. Pressure does not arrive carrying instant character. Pressure exposes the character ordinary days have already formed. A crisis is too late to manufacture the spiritual rhythm, emotional steadiness, or disciplined judgment that convenience allowed you to neglect. Consider Daniel. When danger threatened his life, he continued the practice of prayer already established before the threat appeared. He did not invent devotion because trouble arrived. His response under pressure was supported by a pattern formed in quieter days. The crisis revealed his discipline. It did not create it. We saw the same principle in David. Public courage grew from private responsibility. Joseph also served responsibly in obscurity before he was entrusted with national authority. Different men, different pressures, one principle. Repeated private choices prepare a person for consequential public moments. Do not build your life on occasional brilliance. Brilliance can impress people, but dependability allows them to trust you. Inspiration can begin an action, but structure brings it to completion. A strong beginning may receive attention, but a trustworthy pattern produces lasting fruit. Repetition also shapes identity. Every promise you keep strengthens your ability to keep the next one. Every orderly day becomes evidence of self-government. Every disciplined response tells your mind this is how we live. Over time, you stop merely performing a responsible action and become a responsible person. Confidence becomes stable because it rests on accumulated evidence rather than temporary emotion. But beware of perfectionism. Consistency does not mean you never miss, stumble, or misjudge. It means one failure is not allowed to become permission for abandonment. A broken pattern can be repaired. Use this recovery rhythm. First, notice the break quickly. Second, tell the truth about what caused it. Third, repair any damage your failure created. Fourth, resume the right action promptly. Fifth, adjust the system so the same weakness has less power next time. Do not spend 3 weeks mourning one missed day. Learn, repair, and return. Now ask yourself the 5-year question. If your present habits continue without correction, what kind of character will they produce? What kind of relationships? What kind of financial condition? What kind of health? What kind of influence? Your future is not waiting only for one heroic decision. It is growing quietly from what you repeatedly permit and repeatedly practice. Durable readiness is built through repeatable patterns. Recovery, not flawless performance, preserves consistency. Yet disciplined patterns can still be used to protect an image. Therefore, the examination must go deeper from what you repeatedly do to whether your inner life and outer life truly agree. Integrity is agreement among what you believe, what you say, what you decide, and what you do, especially when applause, supervision, and immediate consequences are absent. Integrity gives security because it removes the exhausting task of maintaining different versions of yourself for different audiences. You do not need one story for the public, another for your family, and a third for your own conscience. A divided life requires constant management. An integrated life can stand in the light, Reputation is what people presently believe about you. Character is the pattern that will eventually support or contradict that belief. You can polish a reputation for a season, but character keeps producing evidence. In time, the foundation speaks. Now apply the hidden stewardship test in 4 categories. First order, does each responsibility have a clear place, plan, and priority? Second, consistency. Do right actions survive changing moods, inconvenience, and lack of recognition? Third, accountability. Is the truth about your life visible to someone wise and trustworthy? Fourth, repair. Are known breaches being corrected or merely discussed? Take those 4 questions through 5 domains: your commitments, your time, your money and resources, your attention, and your moral conduct. Where does disorder remain chronic? Which promise are you avoiding? Where do your words and behavior disagree? What fact are you hiding? Which repeated excuse protects a repeated failure? Who has permission to question your pattern? What repair have you delayed because embarrassment feels easier than truth? Joseph's life shows why this matters. Before he possessed status, he practiced responsibility. Before authority became visible, integrity had already survived temptation, injustice, service, and obscurity. Therefore, when influence arrived, the position did not have to manufacture a leader. It revealed one. And because his inner government had been formed before public power, authority did not have to become an instrument of retaliation or self-glorification. Accountability is not suspicion forced upon you from the outside. It is wisdom invited inside before secrecy becomes strong. A trustworthy person who can question your habits is not an enemy of your freedom. That relationship may be protecting your future, but confession without correction remains incomplete. Saying I was wrong matters, but truth must become action. And activity without restitution can be another form of avoidance. You may begin 10 new disciplines while refusing to repair the one person your old conduct injured. So choose one disordered domain. Choose one accountable person. Define one measurable repair. Put one date beside it. Do not leave conviction floating in the air. Give it an address, an action, and a deadline. This is the path from private contradiction to restored credibility. The assessment has exposed what must change. Now the final movement is to understand that this change is not humiliating delay. It is purposeful preparation. Return now to the prayer with which we began. Do not ask first for a larger platform. Ask for the wisdom and courage to govern your present assignment faithfully. Do not seek greater visibility before seeking greater capacity. Influence is not the first reward of preparation. Service is. A hidden season is not an empty season. It is a working season. Motives are being purified. Habits are being strengthened. Obligations are being repaired. Capacity is being enlarged before greater weight arrives. You may not be gathering applause, but you can be gathering evidence that your life is becoming trustworthy. Reducing disorder may be your most purposeful progress. Fewer false commitments create space for truthful service. Fewer attention leaks create space for clear thought. Fewer concealed problems create space for accountability. Fewer unmanaged obligations create space for excellence. For the next 30 days, make private order measurable. Choose one responsibility to complete. Choose one promise to repair. Choose one calendar boundary to protect. Choose one financial truth to face. Choose one attention leak to close. Choose one accountability conversation to begin. And require evidence. A completed task, a repaired agreement, a protected block of time, an honest financial record, a removed distraction, a scheduled conversation. Do not replace action with another emotional declaration. If change cannot yet be seen in a result, let it at least be seen in a faithful pattern. You will not execute this perfectly. When you stumble, return to truth quickly. Repair specifically. Resume promptly. Do not dramatize failure and do not disguise it. A setback becomes destructive only when pride converts it into secrecy or discouragement converts it into surrender. Remember why this matters. Influence is not a trophy proving your importance. It is stewardship for the benefit of others. Greater visibility simply increases the number of people touched by your judgment, your habits, your words, and your character. Therefore, Greater reach must be supported by deeper government. Now make this commitment. I will govern what is present before demanding what is next. I will keep my word or communicate truthfully when circumstances change. I will protect my attention, honor my limits, and welcome wise accountability. I will repair what I have damaged instead of protecting an image. I will choose character over appearance, service over status, and preparation over premature exposure. That is readiness. Not the ability to attract an audience, but the ability to carry responsibility when no audience exists. Build the hidden life. Strengthen the unseen foundation. Then, if greater influence comes, it will not become a burden that exposes collapse. It can become a blessing carried by a life already trained to serve.